Welcome to another episode of the Muddy Waters YouTube series and audio podcast. And listen, if you're, driving in your car and listening to this on audio only, I highly encourage you to visit my YouTube page and actually watch the video because in addition to some of the video content I've added, there's screen captures and a lot of receipts. And I think hearing it is one thing, seeing it for yourself is a completely different thing. Um, Listen, I've done tremendous amount of research for my upcoming book and for this series. I've as well met with several different victims of scams. And what I can tell you is that consistently, every scam follows a similar pattern. And today we're going to talk about each of the phases in that scammer's playbook. It begins with the false veil, then the outreach, the softening, the switch, the heat, the squeeze, the disappearing act. So I'm going to jump right in and we're going to first talk about the false veil. The captivating, all encompassing emotions we feel when we begin a budding romance. The adrenaline rush when we experience an investment we've made, watch it double, maybe triple. These are the playgrounds that scammers play in. But before they can present themselves on these playgrounds, they have to have a convincing persona. And that is what the false veil is really all about. So I want to show you exactly how this works. Just as an experiment, I went into Adobe Firefly, and you can see the query I typed in. Beautiful Asian woman standing next to a sports car. Takes a couple seconds to spit out the results, but boom, there we have it. Then I went in and modified my search and I said, beautiful Asian woman wearing sunglasses standing by a sports car. Again, takes a couple seconds to think, and this is what it spit out. Take a look. Boom, there it is. The photos they use, the profiles they build, are designed to get a reaction from you, to make you smile, to make you get excited, to make you want to meet them. They're going to show luxury items, Gucci handbags, beautiful travel locations, right? All these things combined. But I'm going to show you a quick way right out of the gate. If you get contacted by someone that seems too good to be true out of the blue, there's a way to do a very quick image search and find out if that profile is legit. Keep this in mind as we begin to talk about the outreach. There's a way when you get messages to do a reverse image search, and I do a whole video on this in my series, and tell if a person is legit. So we're going to put a pin in that and come back to that later. Because once the fake persona, what law enforcement refer to as sock puppet profiles, once that fake persona is built, next comes the outreach. And look, I get it. You're on a dating website and you get a message from a handsome, attractive stranger, someone you've never met before, and you start engaging. They send you a message saying, hey, how are you? And you respond. Or you get a random message on messaging platforms like WhatsApp and you respond. Here's what you need to know. By UN estimates, in the country of Myanmar alone, an estimated 120,000 human trafficking victims are under armed guard in compounds, forced to work 16-hour days, given quotas, beaten, electrocuted when they don't hit them. And guess what their quotas are based on? They're based on engaging with you, getting a dialogue going with you, and going through the rest of the steps I'm going to show you. So again, look at the profile. If it seems too good to be true, do a Google image search, check them out online before you respond. And best practices, if you don't know them, don't respond to them. I'll now show you an actual message I received on WhatsApp. And I replied to this message specifically because I wanted to give you an example of what the outreach can look like. So you see here, hi, how's your day? back and forth conversation, right? Getting you engaged initially, getting conversation going, and then all of a sudden the question is asked, what are your hobbies? And oh, by the way, that's when they slip in the zinger. And this is what to watch out for. In my case, after asking me what my hobbies were and then me not responding, the person I suspected to be a scammer went on to say, oh, I love camping by the lake. I love fishing, being with my friends. I read financial books all the time. And I invest in cryptocurrency and startups. I'm showing that message now on the screen, and I'm showing it very specifically because during this outreach, during this initial contact phase, there's going to come a point when they want to gather personal information about you. They're going to ask you your hobbies. They want you to respond because these are things they're going to use against you later, personally or fear-based kinds of threats, whatever the case may be. Because what comes next is the softening. And this is when they want to find out, what are your dreams? Do you dream of traveling somewhere exotic? Do you dream of having the lifestyle that the profile photos of the person you're allegedly talking to or exchanging messages with? Do you want to live that life? Do you want to go to exotic locations? Maybe they dig for how prepared you are for retirement. What's your investment strategy? How much do you know? Have you ever learned about different methods of investment like cryptocurrency? Or maybe it's something much more personal. As in the case we're going to begin to learn about next, maybe it's a family member who's taken ill and who has hospital bills. We as human beings are hardwired to want to form connections with others, to communicate, to be accepted, even to be loved. To feel that connection releases dopamine and oxytocin in the brain. It's something we want to feel again and again. And scammers know this, and they want to form what feels like a genuine human connection, a connection with you, their potential victim. Their playbook is designed to gain your trust, to establish rapport with you, to encourage you to let down your guard and share things on a personal level. Let's see what that looks like. The victim whose story I'm sharing now ended up trusting the scammer to the point where he shared at one point, my father's in the hospital. And look at the dialogue here. Victim, my dad looks much better today. Victim, I have hope for him. Jessica, quote unquote Jessica, of course, we can't give up. Victim, and he has his own room. Jessica, this is great. The money we can make him live better. Victim, my soul is yours now. Jessica, I won't hurt you, so you must listen. And now comes the switch. This is a very subtle but important thing to pick up on because you may have started a conversation with a romantic interest online, someone you think has a romantic interest in you. You may have just met somebody randomly by way of a text message. Regardless of how it starts, here's how you know you should suspect you may be talking to a scammer. When the conversation turns from romance to investment, or romance to need, or casual conversation to investment, there's your sign. It's your sign to press the pause button. Stop communicating, start thinking, start investigating, because what comes next becomes serious. Because this, my friends, is when they turn up the heat. Because remember, they've already gained your trust, they've built rapport with you, and now they start to mention how well their investments are performing. They have a quote unquote uncle or coworker who is genius at investing. And guess what? They can help you too. That's right. They can help you too. You just have to trust them and you just have to give them a little bit of money and they'll prove it to you. So you do it. A little, but you do it. And they turn up the heat. Look at how well you're doing. You made $5,000 in 15 minutes. Can you imagine what you could do if you invested more? Think about it. Look at how your investments are performing. Remember our victim with the hospitalized father? Here's what came next. He invested, then invested again, invested more. Victim, am I dreaming? I made $60,000 in 10 minutes. Jessica, the big market is coming. Victim, is it real money? Victim, are you sure I can cash this amount in? Jessica, think of your dad, how much you could help him. Victim, what can I do? I don't have much left to invest. Jessica, you told me you own a home and have equity. Jessica again, think of how much more you could make here. Victim, I'll have to think about this. Jessica, think fast. Markets change fast. Before you succumb to the pressure and the requisite greed, remember this. The scammers have created fictitious apps. The profits you think that you're making don't exist. And you know what? Soon they're going to turn into ether. But not before they squeeze you for every possible dollar they can get. You've invested every penny you could. You have a huge return sitting in an account somewhere, and now you want your money back. But guess what? Now there are some problems. Now there are some hurdles. Before you can get that money, now there's some complexities that you weren't aware of going in. But like a lemon, that's when they squeeze you. You owe taxes before we can release this money. You have to make insurance payments. You have to make assurities payments. You have to pay the attorney. The scammer keeps moving the goalposts until they've gotten every possible dollar they can get from you. And once they have, they disappear. But first, faster than a magician's hands, your money begins to disappear. All that you made, you see fade away. They encourage you to invest more. You resist, and even though you've been caught in this spell, you finally say, enough is enough. I want my money. Here's what happens next. Victim, it happened again. Victim, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Victim, help. Jessica, I can't answer you right now. Victim, what am I going to do? I lost everything. I can't control myself. I'm going to die. As you might have guessed, the victim never heard from Jessica again. Later that night, the victim checked himself into a psychiatric hospital where he was put on suicide watch after incurring $1.8 million in debt in just 1 month. This is Philip Macko, host of the Muddy Waters YouTube series and podcast. I want to thank you for joining me. Please like, please share, please subscribe, and I hope you'll join me for the next session, and I hope you have an excellent day.